Hey guys and gals, here we have Lego Creator. Looks like we got an astronaut or spaceman. Set number 31152, and this set was provided by the Lego Group for early review, and that's all the info I can provide. I do not know the retail price, the piece count, or even the name of the set. So it is a 3-in-1 obviously, so we get to build some kind of, looks like a dog and a spaceship of some sort. What it looks like on the top of the box. Sorry about the glare. And that's what it is on the back. So, and just from my experience of building the 3-in-1s, you don't get to build all this stuff at the same time. So in the review, I'm going to be focusing on this one here. Oh, look, the stand is included. Wow. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's see what this looks like all assembled. Here is the astronaut floating in space, or above the workbench, more precisely the turntable. And it is a nice brick-built figure. And it's on the stand, which is very questionable, and it can detach. It's just resting on one single cross-axle. Here, we'll slide that off and we'll show you. That's what the stand looks like right here. And basically, here we have the astronaut. And of course you can pretend that he floats around. And we're going to pop this control pack, or it could be a jet pack right off here. I think you just pull this, or just grab it and just yank that off. And this does feel a bit fragile. So that's essentially what this is. And don't worry, we'll take a closer look at all this. So all this stuff is flexible. So we got a little joystick, and here's the computer thing here. It's printed. And not too bad, but right here it was breaking when I was building it. And here we have the astronaut. Now, despite what this is scaled for minifigures. How? I mean, it's bigger than a minifigure. Well, how do we do this? So let's take a look in here. You just fold this thing down here. We'll bring this piece up here, and we'll just tip this windscreen down. And that's where your minifigure will sit. Now, this set did not come with the minifigure, so I gotta find Jay the Surfer. And we'll set him right in there. Now, just mind you here, I'm doing this all with one hand, or two hands, but it just, that's how he fits in right there. And this does close up with the figure in it. So, it is scaled for minifigures, but the only drawback with that is there was no minifigure included, so I think this was just meant as a novelty piece. But in addition to that, your legs move, but be careful, I broke that off a few times. His knees move. His feet don't really move that much. So the hands and the arms move, and the fingers move. But if you're really inclined to do so, you can, do some inappropriate gestures there with that. And yeah, and this just easily attaches right onto these clips right here. So I'm just going to back these away and just snap this on here. And there's two clips you're going to have to kind of work in there and snaps in place, but it just feels like it's barely tacked on. And you can reposition everything where, of course, you can have his hand on the controls, and this one here, like typing on the computer. And putting it back on the stand, I'll show you here. It just rests inside this little hinge plate. And that's all that's holding that whole thing up, is that little cross axle. And yeah, it's not too sturdy, but it looks like he is floating in space. Here's a close-up of the torso. We have a printed tile and some hoses, and that windscreen. So I'm just going to open this up real quick and show you. Hoping this thing does not fall off this rickety stand here. And doing this with one hand, it's risky. Uh-oh, here we go. I just want to show you inside there real quick. So you do have a printed control panel. I bet there wasn't a joystick or something there to match, but it is scaled for figures. So a minifigure can fit comfortably in there, as you saw. And this just closes up. And It looks pretty seamless. The shoes or boots are pretty basic, but the hands are pretty cool in the gloves. So as you can see here, he can easily just wrap his hands around that joystick. And I'm just holding my breath, hoping this thing doesn't fall, although that would be very interesting. And we'll take a look at the back here. And yes, it is complete brick and plate built construction. There's that stand. And that's all that's holding that on there right now, just a little cross axle right there. Honestly, I don't think I would trust that on there for too long. As you can even see, it looks like this thing's ready to tip and fall off here. Trying to keep everything into frame. I don't like the way that looks. Looks like I may have to press that in there. I know some of you are like, I hope that falls. Well, I hope it doesn't. I guess that's as best as it's going to be attached. All in all, it is a nice detailed astronaut, but for me personally though, just having it sitting on the stand is just, I'm still questioning that. Here are my thoughts. Let's start with build quality, and for me it's just average. I did have a leg fall off, I did have this jetpack controller thing. This thing kept falling apart when I was building it. Other than that, everything seems okay, but the one main thing is, and we've already pointed this out and I'll show it again here, is that this is just hanging on one little stud right here, a little shaft. It feels like this thing's ready to break off. So it just feels very unstable. So this is just meant to be displayed, not to be roughhoused with, which leads to play value. And it is playable. As we saw, you can put a minifigure inside. The hands move and the legs move, but just like with the build quality, it's pretty much a fragile build. It's just meant to be admired. Build experience for me was also average. Why? Color scheme was just white and gray with a little hint of black. Wasn't too exciting. We did have gold and some red and blue peeking through here, but I think it's the color palette that just set this set off as just boring for me. I mean, it was interesting at first, but if you're interested in this theme, it's a really good choice. Now, can this be dropped in a Lego city? It is a complete build, but it's also very large. So unless you're going to put this inside of a theme park or make this a focal point of your space station, it really has no practical use in terms of fit value. It's not going to fit in very well. As far as for mock value, I'm sure you can probably change the color of this up, maybe orange or red or even pink if you really wanted to, and it would look really cool and just lose all the white. So this could be left open for a mock builder. As far as for collaborative build, from what I have seen, this could be built up to 3 people. So one person can build the jetpack, one other person can build the legs, maybe the stand, and then one can build the torso and the arms and the lower torso. That's pretty much about it for collaborative build. It's not too bad. You can easily manage 1 to 3 builders out of the set. My final score on this build is a 9.5. And overall it is a nice build, especially for someone who's into space or into astronaut. But for somebody like myself, this wasn't really too exciting. But the reason why I'm dinging off the 0.5, it's the bland colors and the thing was falling apart, and of course this very wobbly stand, you know. I could go lower on it, but for me personally, it's still got some potential. So tell me what you think of the set.